Welcome. Today we're going to take you through the setup of the QT34, which is an instrument used to assess the potential for individual heat stress based on environmental conditions. The QT34 is water resistant to light mist or rain. And we're going to take a look at the sensors on the top of the unit, the keypad and display down here, checking and replacing the wick and filling the wet bulb reservoir here. On the side of the unit, the comms and on the back of the unit, the batteries. And then also we're going to be performing an operational check using the verification module, and then finally taking measurements out in the field. The QT34 has three sensors on the top of the unit here. The first on the left here is the globe thermometer sensor, which gives an indication of the radiant heat exposure on an individual due to either direct sunlight or hot objects in the environment. The next sensor here is the wet bulb, or the natural wet bulb thermometer sensor, which gives an indication of the effects of humidity on an individual. Relative humidity and wind speed are taken into account by measuring the amount of evaporative cooling taking place at a thermometer covered within the moistened wick. And the last sensor on the right here is the dry bulb thermometer, which measures the ambient air temperature. The white plates you can see on the top here shield the sensor from radiant heat. Okay, we're going to go through the keypad commands now for the QT34. So on the front of the display here you've got the input, output, enter button, the run, stop button, and your up and down arrow keys here. So if we want to switch the instrument on, if we press the input, output, enter button, from here we can see on the display the various commands. So we've got the view, the setup, the print and the reset. So if we go through those. So if I want to view some of the measurements, I can go in with the input, out, enter key here. And this will take me into the measurements on the sensors. So I've got the wet bulb, the dry bulb. If I scroll up and down with these arrow keys here, I can see the globe bulb. I can see some other calculations here, and I can see relative humidity and time and date. If I want to come out of this option, if I push and hold the input, out, enter key here, you'll see in the corner it counts me down 3, 2, 1 to come back out of the menu. If I then want to go into maybe change the Celsius to Fahrenheit, for example, I could scroll down with this, press enter, enter, and then I can change Celsius to Fahrenheit or the language if I wish to. If I want to come out of this, I push the run stop button here, and that'll take me out to the main menu. The print button here is if you're using one of the optional serial printers, and the reset button here is if you want to wipe the data logs off the instrument. And to switch the unit off, obviously you've got the input, out, enter key, and also to take a measurement, if I hit the run stop button here, you'll see this is now taking a measurement. Now in the bottom right hand corner here you've got an asterisk. This tells you that a measurement's been recorded, and again likewise if I want to switch that off, I'll just push that button again and that will disappear. And to switch the instrument off, I just push and hold the input, out, enter key. That will count me down in the bottom right hand corner here. The QT34 uses a cotton wick immersed in a reservoir containing distilled water. Ordinary tap water should not be used, as the contaminants left behind after evaporation shorten the life of the wick and can cause high readings. Check the wick before use. If the wick is discoloured, it should be replaced. So we're going to replace the wick now. So if we lift the cap off the end here, if we pinch the top of the wick and slide this off, like so, we grab our replacement wick, put that over the top, all the way down. You can now see that like so. There we are. So, and we put the cap back over the end. Now we're going to fill the reservoir with the distilled water. So we'll grab that here. So, and that's 3/4 the way filled up there. So we put the cap back over the end, just secure that safely and hard down there. That now is replacing the wick kit and filling the reservoir on the wet bulb. The QT34 can communicate, download data, create reports, print and save customized setups. The side panel located on the side here has a number of port options. So the top port here, the data port, it can be a serial printer, or it can be a parallel running to a computer running DMS software. The two 15-pin D-sub jacks here on the side there are running additional sensor bars. You can run them up to 200 feet away, and the top sensor bar here can also be remote and run with a cable to extend the length. There are three options for powering the QT34 instrument. There's a 9-volt alkaline battery, a nickel metal hydride rechargeable 6-cell battery pack, and an AC adapter. When you switch the instrument on, if you're using batteries, check the battery level. If the battery voltage displayed during the power on sequence is less than or equal to 6.4 volts, replace or recharge the batteries before use. The AC adapter will triple charge the rechargeable batteries if they're in place, or if they're not, will allow for the line operation of the instrument. The rechargeable battery pack is located inside the instrument. If it needs replacing, turn the instrument off. Flip this round there, and we open up the battery component here with the flathead screwdriver. Also located behind the panel is a switch which must be set correctly for the battery type that you're using. The up position on here, which is set for, is for the 9-volt alkaline battery, and the down position is for either the AC adapter or the rechargeable batteries. So if we take the battery out here, push down a little bit, and we'll put this unit in here like so. We can then do up the battery compartment here, and that's the battery changed. Only use approved 9-volt alkaline batteries, and only replace or recharge batteries in non-hazardous environments. Once you fit the battery, obviously do the battery compartment back up on the back of the unit, and you can check the battery voltage on the unit here, so you can see the battery voltage has risen. If the battery voltage drops below 6.4 volts whilst the unit is in use, a low battery warning will appear on the screen. After this warning, the unit will continue to operate for approximately 8 hours. When the battery voltage falls to 6.2 volts, the unit will automatically turn off. A verification module may be used to check the operation of the QT34. Readings are printed on the side of the module. With a flat-headed screwdriver, unscrew the two screws on the top of the unit located here and here, and then you can safely remove the sensor array like so, and then you can plug in the verification module into the top of the instrument here. With the readings on the instrument set in degrees Celsius, verify the display readings match those printed on the module within plus or minus 0.5 Celsius. They'll take a little time just to acclimatise. If the readings are not within this tolerance, the unit must not be used until it's been serviced and calibrated. Once you've taken your readings, remove the verification module, replace the top sensor bar, and tighten the screws again. If the readings are not within this tolerance, the unit must not be used until it has been serviced and calibrated. So if we compare the results on here, I can see the modules listing on the wet bulb 11.11 Celsius, which we can see on the display here. The dry bulb there is 45.1, which also matches the display here. If I scroll down, I can see the globe is 68.6, which also matches, and if I keep going, I can see the relative humidity here, which is 52 to 53, so within acceptable tolerances. Once you've taken your readings, remove the verification module from the top of the unit. So, replace the sensor array on the top of the instrument again and tighten up the screws. Okay, so we're now ready to take a measurement on the QT34 instrument here. So we've checked the wick and replaced that if necessary. We've filled the wet bulb reservoir with the distilled water. We've performed a battery and power supply check. And we've performed a operational check on the unit using a verification module when we replaced the sensor bar here. It's recommended the QT34 be mounted on a tripod. A threaded bushing allows it to be fitted to any standard photographic tripod like this. It should be set at a height of approximately 3.5 feet off the ground to keep it away from anything which might block radiant heat or airflow. It is also important you don't stand next to it while you're taking readings for the same reason. Shelter the instrument and remote the sensor bar if the measured environment is expecting heavy rain or if the temperature is above 60 Celsius. So if we power on the instrument, the unit will take around 10 minutes to stabilize in the environment when you're looking to take a measurement. Set the unit up and then allow it that 10 minutes and then come back and we can begin taking the measurement. So when you're ready, if you press the input-output enter key on the display here, we can now see the bulbs, and we can scroll through these like we went through before with the menu system. If we want to record on the unit, we can press the run stop key, and we can see that in the bottom right that we've got that asterisk that tells us that it's recording. Similarly, if we want to stop the storing and recording of data, we press the run button again, and that's now stopped. And we can obviously navigate through the menu system with the up and down arrow keys here. So that is taking a measurement on the QT34.